Oh, hi everybody. Welcome to Stitch Trek, the show where we talk about Star Trek costumes, where to buy them, how to make them, and today, am I starting with squished hair, a wig cap line, and a face full of makeup? And are my eyes blue? Why, yes. And it all has to do with today's episode, Charlie X. My idea today was to make this costume only for a lady. And which lady? My favorite lady from this episode, Yeoman Rand. This is my mimic of her makeup from that episode. I'm going to show you really quickly how to make the costume, and then afterwards, during the makeup portion, I'm going to discuss my theories and thoughts on this episode. One of the episodes I most love and most hate. But we'll get to that. So without any further ado, let's get to it.
The first thing you're going to need is a pair of red leggings, and if you've got something up top to cover up, a red sports bra that matches. You're going to need a red gi and a red karate belt. And you'll need 2 deltas. My gi came with a pair of red pants. That's good because I'm going to need to remove the cuffs and use them to split the gi. My gi did not come open in the front, and for this costume it needs to be. I'm also going to remove that badge. Don't forget the black socks. I'm just taking the badge off by cutting threads. And now I'm taking the cuffs off the pants. It'll go like this. Time to cut it up the front. Now, with the other cuff removed, I just have to sew them onto the front. Now they're secured. It's time to turn the edge of the deltas blue. If you look closely in the episode, they have sort of a blue hue instead of the black. I think the gold is also a slightly different color, but I just don't want to do that much. But this is supposed to be a simple costume, so that's about as far as I'm going to go. Now I'm sewing the badges onto the leggings. I've pinned them in place, and I'm going down one side. Here's how to go around a corner with a sewing machine when applying a badge. I'm going to leave the needle down, stabbing through both the badge and the fabric of the garment. Then lift the foot and turn the garment. Set the foot back down in the direction I want to go, and continue on. And here I'll do it again. I'm going back and forth a little bit at each point, just to give it a little more anchor. The needle's down, I'm lifting the foot, turning it, removing a pin, setting the foot, and forward again. And there it is. Looks great. I've done the same thing to the gi. Somehow I ended up with 2 really cheap blonde wigs. Not sure how, but I'm going to make these into a Yeoman Rand wig. What I need is a triangular shape for the crown. I've got lots of foam around, so I'm just going to trim a piece into shape. I'm going to glue it about thus. But first I need a bald spot to glue it to. So I'm going to trim off a bunch of hair and save this. I'm going to need it later. I'm going to try to keep it in the sections in which I remove it. Now I'm hot gluing the crown triangle to the top of the wig. I need some bangs, so I'm just going to cut some. Now I'm removing the bangs from the top wig. I'll use hot glue to affix the top wig to the top of the triangle of foam. I've taken the spare ends and woven them into a basket pattern. Now I'm covering it in hot glue. This is to anchor all of the pieces together. I'm going to let this application of glue dry. Once it's dry, I'm going to turn it over and just make sure that it's actually the right size to get the effect I need. It looks pretty good. Considering I've never made this type of wig before, now I'm going to put a fresh layer on and affix it for real. Now I'm going to cut the wig to the appropriate length, which for Yeoman Rand is just about past the top of the shoulders. I've put a little band of hair across the front, like she has, and I'll glue the ends hidden under the hair at the sides. I can't heat style this though, it's far too cheap. And there we go, finished.
Okay, everybody. First things first, I'm going to put in some blue contact lenses. Do I change them? I feel like I have a more appropriate color, but they took so long to get in there. I think we're gonna go with it. So, here we go. All right, we're gonna go with these blue. I feel like they're too deep blue, but that doesn't really matter to me. First steps first. So let's put on the wig cap, get the hair out of the way, and I'll grab some bigger lashes. If you don't know how to put a wig cap on right, if you're really long hair like mine, do not make a bun in the back. You don't need a bun. The wig cap takes care of all this for you. So you want this thick elastic seam to end up across your forehead, and the netting is what's going to hold your hair. You pull it up, I have bangs now, to about thus, and then pull up, up, up. Your hair is going to tumble out at the top, and kind of like tuck that in, get that all in there, and then let go. And you can then take this little bit and tuck it underneath the elastic in the back. That way you get a smoother, no bumps look. And then once you got it all taken care of, just get your ears out of there. Ta-da! No lump in the back to make your wig look strange. Now, I'm gonna grab some lashes and I'll be right back. Oh yes. Now, these are big. Yeoman Rand has such a golden, peachy glow. I don't tan, I just get more freckles. So mimicking this is gonna be hard, but I'm gonna do it. Compared to a lot of the other characters from the first season, I feel like her makeup is actually kind of like big and bold. A lot of the guest stars that I see in these episodes actually have pretty simple makeup. Oh. Charlie X. Let's do a rundown of the plot first, and then we'll get into why this is the episode that irks me the most. The Enterprise is bopping through space when they have to pick up somebody from a cargo ship. It turns out that when these people beam on board, 2 crew members and this person, that this individual is a 17-year-old boy named Charlie. Apparently, this cargo ship picked him up from a planet, found him living all alone as a teenager with no exposure to other humans, and that Charlie had told them that he used the computer data banks to learn how to talk and read and essentially be a person, and that he had otherwise survived using the food on board, what the ship could provide, and when that ran out, he found just things growing about that he could eat. Kirk buys this story. Sounds plausible. Well, I mean, a little far-fetched. He was like apparently 3 when he was stranded there in this crash. But, yeah, sure. Why not? They're gonna take this kid to Colony 5, where apparently he has some long-lost relatives living, and they can get him used to living in a society. On their way out of the transporter room, they run into Yeoman Rand. Charlie is immediately, what would be a good word for it? Impressed, I guess? And he asks, "Is this a girl?" And Kirk's like, "Yeah, that's what a girl looks like." I mean, it makes sense that Charlie would have never seen a woman, so makes sense. After a quick medical to make sure that he was healthy, which of course he is perplexingly pretty much given like run of the ship, which, I don't know, seems a little weird. You'd give this kid with like no experience on an operating starship, let alone experience around humans, just full reign to wander as he likes. Alright. He pretty much spends that time getting in people's ways, as far as I can tell. Just, bothering personnel that are trying to work. But not my business, I guess. I'm just saying, that kid would at least have a minder if I were in charge. He sees a workman like playfully slap another workman on the butt and proceeds to do that to Yeoman Rand when he sees her again in the hallway. Yeoman Rand is like, "Oh no, you don't get to do that." And he's like, "Why not?" So she tells him to go ask Kirk why that's inappropriate. Later on he does, and Kirk, very wisely, I love this line, says, "There's no right way to hit a woman." Damn right. Damn right, little Charlie. Listen and learn. Charlie finds Yeoman Rand again, and she introduces him to a girl his own age, and he is completely uninterested. He is only interested in her. And Yeoman Rand calls him rude. He insists that he just wants to spend time with her, and she says pretty much nah. But later we're gonna be chilling, and you can come hang out with us. So he arrives, Spock is playing the Vulcan harp, Uhura is singing, and she sings a little jingle about Charlie, and suddenly her voice is like cut off. And this is one of the first obvious signs that something's up with Charlie. Like in the beginning, there was a moment when it seems like maybe the crew members from the cargo ship wanted to say something about Charlie, but suddenly we're like, let's just keep our mouth shut and leave. Like they were a little intimidated by him, but you don't know like why yet. And in this moment, you're like, oh, that kid's got like powers. Please pardon the noise. If you can hear water, there's a shower happening upstairs, and I'm powerless to stop it. Small house problems. Charlie decides to show them all a card trick, mostly focusing on Yeoman Rand, involving cards suddenly having her image upon them. And everybody's like, ooh, impressive! But you can tell, like, Yeoman Rand is humoring him. Like, she's not really into this. We're all your friends, buddy. Yeah, you're great. Charlie seems to really need acceptance. And most of the crew are aware of this and trying to make him feel like he's part of the club. But he's also very unforgiving when somebody's not into what he wants. He's a kid that grew up without any human interaction, so yeah. I don't think he knows how to take a no. On this bad. I mean, I may be getting the events a little out of order, but a good chunk of this episode is just him wandering around and being a creep. So, the cargo ship that he arrived upon blows up. No obvious sign of why. Later, when it becomes more apparent that, oh, Charlie's got like powers, Charlie admits that he did it. He found a flaw in the construction of the ship and he took advantage of it. And with his ability to essentially do whatever godlike thing he wants to do, he blew up the cargo ship, killing everybody aboard. Great effing guy. After he admits to blowing up the cargo ship, Kirk decides that they're not going to Colony 5. This kid's too dangerous. He should not be unleashed on the rest of the human race. No, no, no. Charlie decides that he's not having that. They are going to Colony 5. And he uses his abilities to take over the ship. He's got full control and they are headed right for the colony. He's going to hang out with some people, meet family, essentially be a mini god. And struts off the bridge to do whatever he wants around the ship in the meantime. In that meantime, he enters Yeoman Rand's quarters uninvited and insists that she is going to be with him. She needs to just accept that. And she stands up for herself, but he doesn't take that kindly and vanishes her. We don't know what that means. It's never explained what that means, but she's just gone. And in that moment, he also manages to injure Spock. But Charlie admits that he needs Kirk to help maintain the functions of the ship, because this ship is a lot more complicated than the cargo ship was, which means he also had taken control of the cargo ship. So they weren't so much rescuing him as they were his hostages. Kirk tells Charlie that, well, if that's the case, I need Spock to be healthy and able because you need me and I need him to run this ship. So Charlie begrudgingly heals the injuries that he has bestowed upon the Vulcan. Everybody splits up. Charlie's off doing what he wants to do again. Essentially, essentially he's walking around doing terrible things to people. Turning people into lizards and removing their faces. This episode. On the bridge, the crew are theorizing that there's no way Charlie could have survived on his own. There's no way. He had to have had help. And it not just the help of a half-functioning ship. Like, some other being must have helped him. Oh, well. Charlie arrives, okay, on the scene again. He's just moseying all over. And a transmission is trying to come through, if I remember correctly. That's the moment this happens. But Charlie's blocking it, like he doesn't want them to hear what this is. Charlie leaves again for a second, and while he's gone, the captain theorizes that if they turn on like every toaster, every hairdryer, run every dishwasher to tax Charlie's energies in controlling the ship, that maybe they'll be able to get the jump on him, like wrench the ship from his control. He'll be weakened enough that they could stop him. Where am I putting things today? Well, they do, and it works. Kirk's able to essentially jump on that kid and punch him in the face. Yay. However, it's not like for a long time. Charlie is able to incapacitate Kirk with his powers, as diluted as they are, but it's just long enough that that transmission gets through. And who happens to be on the phone? Charlie's space dad. Well, Daddy ain't happy, and neither is Charlie. Make his lips smaller. Instantly, Charlie's saying stuff like, fellow humans, we're besties, right? I've always been on your side. We've been everywhere together. You don't want to send me away, do you? We're such great friends. You said we were friends when we met. The crew's a little... This alien father describes to the crew that they found Charlie when he was a wee little toddler, and they knew he could not survive on that planet the way he was. So in order to keep him alive, because they had sympathy for him, they gave him godlike powers, and he was never really meant to like leave though, because they understood, being, you know, energy beings who are all knowing, that if he ever got out, he could start some real trouble. And lo and behold, he did. But it's okay. They're here to take him home. Now Charlie is begging, like, please let me stay. I promise I won't be such a jerk anymore. You know, I just want to like learn to be human. I just want to be with my own kind. And Kirk's kind of feeling it. He feels sympathy for him anyway. So Kirk says he can stay. You know, we just have to teach him to be human. We'll try our best. This energy being, this space dad, says no. I know that kid. You can't trust him. Hell no. Hell no. He's coming home with us. We are the only ones that can keep him under wraps. So, pleading and crying, Charlie is whisked away. And that's that. That's the end of the episode. The crew is left feeling unsure about what just happened, but probably pretty grateful that that brat is gone. And Yeoman Rand materializes on the bridge. She's fine. She's a little confused as to what just happened. She knew she was in her quarters, but all again is right on the Enterprise. It's just a little creepier. We'll get over it. We'll get over it. And that's the end of the episode. This dang episode. This one, when I was a kid and I was watching the original series for the first time, this is one of the ones that would give me like the shivers. This is one of my favorite and simultaneously one of my least liked episodes of Star Trek. But this episode is terrible because it works. And because it works, it's great. To me, anyway. Comment down below if you disagree. But, number one most frightening episode of Star Trek, as far as I'm concerned. And I've seen all of Star Trek. I've seen it all. I've watched every episode. I think I'm actually 2 episodes behind Lower Decks right now. But I've seen all the rest. And this one, this child who grew up on a planet with, as far as we know for the first half of the episode, no one to teach him societal norms, has the power of a god, mostly, can blink you out with a, what's that look he does? He like rolls his eyes back. Creepy as hell. The actor they chose to play him, perfect. I know he passed away recently, actually. I mean, he's terrifying. You can just be walking down the hallway, minding your own business, and this guy can just come up and you're a freaking lizard, apparently. When he busts through that group of 3 people walking down the hall, I thought for sure for a minute he was going to turn around and make them vanish. And every time I watch it, I expect it to happen, and it never does. And I'm always like, oh my goodness. So that, by itself, was always very frightening. That Kirk has the most tenuous control. And the only control he has is because Charlie craves approval. And Kirk is kind of like the dad figure in this episode. And it's great watching Kirk stumble through being a father figure, because he's obviously not used to it. I love that part of this episode. But to know that this kid can just do away with him gets me. I freaking hate that kid. I hate that kid. That's it. I hate him. Charlie sucks. It also super duper sucks because Charlie's terrible to women. Don't be like Charlie. Charlie's a monster. Charlie refuses to respect Yeoman Rand's choice not to engage with his bizarre desires of romance with a 17-year-old, which is just the tip of the iceberg as to why the whole situation is wrong. Charlie's just a nasty little person, and he's forcing his love upon someone who expresses repeatedly that she's not interested. Charlie, back off. Stop being a little tool. Don't be like Charlie. Don't do it. There was a perfectly fine lady his own age that he was introduced to who seemed genuinely hurt when Charlie blatantly ignored her, who might have eventually been friends or more with Charlie, but instead he focused his energies where they were not welcome. Dude, you're not only wasting your time, but you're missing a chance. Is up here a little. I'm using my fingers a lot right now because they're clean from putting my contacts in, but also I can't find half my brushes. He's not gonna like just get to know people, settle in, figure out culture. No, because that's what these people do. They don't figure out the culture, they don't adapt, they demand, and I hate that. I hate that about him. I hate that about the type of people who act this way, because these are real folks. Real folks do this. Okay, I have to make a little wing with that? Oh yes, I have to make a wing with that. But I suppose we're supposed to like forgive him because he wasn't exposed to learning about how to get along with people, and I don't effing care. I don't care. Charlie's a loser. Read the room, kid. He says the creepiest stuff. I mean, just like low-grade stalker stuff like you'd get in a really crappy comment. He says to Yeoman Rand, "You smell like a girl." If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, what? Diesel exhaust and wood chips? And he said to her, when I see you, I feel hungry. Freaking Jeffrey Dahmer crap. No, we don't. We don't talk like that. That's nasty. That's nasty. You get to know somebody as a friend. If it clicks, it clicks. If it doesn't, you still got a friend. Just don't. Yeah, it's gonna take some time. Of course it's gonna take some time. That's where quality relationships come from. They're built on foundations, not you saying nasty stuff. This kid is just gross. He's so gross. I gotta say though, I am grateful to Star Trek because I was a wee child when I first saw this episode, and I got to see this played out before I actually met people like that. So I'm like ready. You know? I'm seeing some red flags right away. What'd you just say? What did I just hear you say? Some guy in college once called me the epitome of human evolution. Ugh. Frickin'. Like, I know I'm cute, but like, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear your salty nonsense. Don't. Just how nice, like, how you doing today? I'm good. Oh yeah, me too. You know, be friends first. Nasty. Like seriously, saw this guy at the bus stop once in a while, and then he said that. Stop riding the bus at that time. I don't know, some people out there are like, well, what are you supposed to say to girls? You can't compliment anymore. Yeah, you can, just don't be a frickin' creep about it. Come on. Don't be a Charlie. This is not supposed to be a show about therapy, though. I'm not supposed to be giving advice, but just don't be a Charlie. Don't be a Charlie. Friends first. Normal stuff. Hey, you watched Game of Thrones last night? That show's over. I didn't even watch it, but what are people watching these days that's not Star Trek? Because I'm not watching whatever that is. Is it American Horror Story? Is that back? I don't know. Hey, you watched American Horror Story last night? Scary stuff, right? Talk about other things. Oh, you don't like that one? What are you into? Jeopardy? Oh, Jeopardy is great. Is Jeopardy still on? Okay, things I like about this episode. I like that this is so well done. It really is terrifying. They did a good job of capturing the essence of an uneducated, unsocialized jerk and making it scary as heck. They won. They won that challenge. In other news, the lighting in this episode, it's like that, highlight the eyes. It's very dramatic. The colored lights thrown upon every wall are just so saturated. It's beautiful to look at. It is beautiful to look at. I love everybody's costumes. I love that you get to see Charlie wearing, I think it's one of the earlier kind of muted tone uniform tops from the first, technically the first episode. I adore the gymnasium scene. I love the smattering of crew that you get to see for a moment in the background. Those two guys that are like fighting with the staffs. And there's a really quick shot of women doing like somersaults down the corridor. I really like the absurd lesson that Kirk teaches. Like, I'm gonna teach Charlie how to fight. Does that seem like a good idea? Does it? Does he need that? No. Like, what is that supposed to? No. No. That's like when your kid's a bully and you're like, he just needs some discipline. Let's teach him karate. Why? So he can like break arms now? Great. Oh no. Let's just avoid all of this. As I said before, I love Kirk trying to play like the dad figure. I love Charlie's space papa. He's just this like floating green middle-aged man. I took this form so that you could tolerate seeing me. Apparently our puny brains wouldn't be able to see him properly. I just adore that. The voice over the intercom talking about the meatloaf becoming turkeys is the voice of Gene Roddenberry. I really liked that. I adore Yeoman Rand just standing her ground when he barges into her quarters and saying, I don't care, Charlie. Do not care what you want. You don't get everything you demand. Like, this is nonsense. Don't let yourself get walked all over. Don't do it. Just because somebody wants something from you doesn't mean they deserve it. It doesn't matter if they've done something nice. Okay? It's only nice if you do something for someone without expectations of something in return. Earlier in the episode, he gave her a bottle of some rare perfume that she really likes. That's all fine and good. You can accept a gift, but that doesn't mean you owe him anything. It goes for guys too. It goes for everybody. Charlie's pitiful begging at the end really does kind of tug at the heartstrings. He's saying things like, I can't even touch them. They don't know what love is. They can't feel love. But he had so soured me to his plight that I did not care. Did not care. Bye, kid. Bye. Oh god, those are big. And crooked. Don't, like, why are you touching my eyebrows? Oh well. We got what we got. We're gonna do our best. I don't feel like she has a fine point. It's all done with shadow, as far as I can tell. Oh, goodness gracious. Charlie is a twit and a scoundrel and a ne'er-do-well, and these lashes are terrible. And oh, girl. Maybe this will fix it. We'll fix it and make it worse. At least they're a little straighter. And frankly, that's all I have to say about him, because he doesn't deserve any more of my energy. I mean, seriously, this little snot. Oh, dang. Hello. Pretty good. put on the costume and then the wig, and we'll see what we see. I beg you, please ignore my chipping black nail polish from my Wednesday Addams Star Trek crossover costume this Halloween. All in all, the wig is crap, but the wig started out as crap. I mean, it didn't fit to begin with. So, this is an upgrade. This is quite the upgrade. How I ended up with two the same baffles me. I would love to try this again, but with a much better quality than this. This is like Walmart Halloween plastic. And there's no way in heck I could style this with any sort of heated tool. It would have just melted. In fact, when I was hot gluing, a lot of the strands were shriveling back. They were melting as I was hot gluing. So I'm probably gonna do this again, only with a much nicer set of wigs. The bangs, there was no way to make them a nice little roll, but all things considered, these wigs probably cost $5 a piece in some Halloween markdown sale on November 1st years ago. I mean, it's not that bad. And I do say so myself. Like, this is not the worst thing I've ever created. So, you know, it gets the gist across to people. It is shedding like crazy. Yeah, wow, that is a mess. But, yeah, I'm gonna use this all the time. This is great. This was a good purchase. Pieced together costume. I have a whole bag of socks now. I love how this gi fits after I cut it open. It's a great little jackety thing I could just wear around the house. See, I feel like I have to get the whole wig in the frame, and I can't because it's too tall. I'll just go like this. Hi, how are you today? This little sports bra top that came with it. Ignore that velvet thing I'm trying to fix. It has nothing to do with Star Trek. I love the little sports bra that came with this set. I love these super, super soft leggings. And all I had to do is slap a look at all this hair. All I had to do is slap a badge onto all these things and instant Star Trek costume. I mean, I did not know that this was not open in the front, so I did have to do that. That was a little work. Just make sure you buy one that's open. Thankfully, most of these come in a set of matching pants and top. So I just used the hems from the pants to fix the top. Easy, there's somebody walking around. If you need a costume fast, why not this? It's very low effort, low skill. If you don't think you can sew, you can make this. Like, I sewed these on, but you could hot glue them. Just remember that if you're somewhere very warm, hot glue softens back up. It's not like you glue something and you glue it forever with hot glue. If you glue something with hot glue and you leave it out in the sun or in a hot car, you can just peel that stuff right off. So, use it wisely. Yeah, I don't know what else I have to say about this. Nothing. So, with that being said, hello? Anyway, did I do that? Yes, I did. Let's get the whole wig in here. So with that being said, the Yeoman Rand wig and I bid you adieu. Live long and prosper, everybody. Kapla! And it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.